Yeah, I just hit the record button. Like,
Fair enough.
Yeah, you just kind of push it.
conversation
hmm
just wasn't going anywhere. No.
You,
I
you,
was waiting for Patient to show up, or he
yeah.
confirmed that he's going to be here or not. But
Oh, that makes
yeah,
sense.
how's everybody doing?
Oh, I just went to a
Okay.
birthday party for my nephew, his first birthday.
Oh, cool.
Hooray.
Yay! And you know where we went?
Chuck E. Cheese? That's the thing, right? For the
That's
American
exactly
babies?
correct, actually.
Hey.
Really?
I'm pointing my
We
You
went
know,
thumbs
to
at my own
one
head like, yay.
we went to Chuck E. Cheese.
you saw 1-year-old the Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, that's where I went when I was 1 years old. So,
Gotta get them in young.
I guess.
modern day Chuck E. Cheese is
Depressing?
depressing.
Mhm.
Yes,
I'm
depressing. You're
on
reading my
point
mind
on
today.
this one.
It, it is. um, I could see where the stage where the animatronics used to play was.
Oh, that's
Oof.
sad.
Like, let me share this picture with you. But you can see that like they just boarded up the stage and put a big screen in front of where the stage would be.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
That plays all this the non-stop the characters singing various silly songs.
Are they at least like a video on the screen?
There's a video on the screen, yes.
Okay, at least there's
But
that. I mean,
I don't know why they would decide to play Pumpkin in My Pocket. And it's just the lyrics, there's a pumpkin in my pocket, pumpkin in my pocket. And that's just the only lyrics. And he's just throwing pumpkins out of his pocket. I don't understand why.
Okay.
It's and
Wow.
then we had like our hostess for the big party group. You could tell she had the like aura of despair around her, like she didn't want to be there. She wanted to be anywhere else but there. When they have the like happy birthday thing playing on the screen, she's doing it and completely out of sync, not in the
oh
rhythm at all.
God, it's just sad.
I mean, that's minimum wage for you. You just don't care at all.
I mean, yeah, understandable. Not paid enough.
Yeah, but and
Also,
then
also it's. I mean, it's minimum wage, but it's also Chuck E. Cheese, which, like, I said it as the thing that you just Americans go to for children's birthday parties, is my understanding, but it's not what it was, is
Mhm.
also my understanding.
yeah, it's distinctly not the place that it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the like Jungle Bungle playset things needed to shut down for insurance reasons, or scale things way back to just like an arcade, which sucks.
Hello,
Hello?
hi patient. We're talking about the downfall of Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Hey, patient.
Yeah.
A lot of places had to get rid of their jungle gym because it was an insurance hazard. Or at least I
And as a
believe that's what
result,
happened.
you have just the most boring place. It's just there's no jungle gym. There's like no ball pit. Which, to be fair, the ball pit was a place of horrible secrets.
Oh,
But
it wasn't a bloody secret.
I mean, the secret is vomit and other human fluids.
Fluids, if you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
point being, um, it didn't really have much that you could actually do other than some games, most of which were like the cheapest kind.
A bit depressing.
Was that?
You're a little
You're
quiet, patient. You
very, very quiet.
away from the mic, maybe.
I'm as close as I can be.
That's better. I'm gonna turn you up further. We're gonna see how that goes.
Same.
Mhm.
Anyway,
So is the arcade not even decent then? That's attached, or did it not
I
have one?
mean, they had. Oh, okay. How do I describe this? They have a system of, I suppose. I think it's you just can spend money and you can play for as long as you want, right?
Mhm.
As long as you have like the time limit, so you buy minutes or you can buy points. If you buy minutes, you have unlimited play to these games for that entire time period, which means that every single ticket machine gives you like 2 tickets, 4 tickets, right?
Mhm.
And you need 500 tickets to get this little pair of child-sized funny glasses that I got.
I see.
And the only actual games are like a very old at this point Terminator shooter game, which lags severely. They had a Fast and Furious game that was fun. It also was lagging. No air hockey. Not even like the most basic thing.
That's a shame. Then again, that's also
So-
a hazard. I'm flying discs of plastic at head level for children. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Really, it was honestly like, yay, happy for the baby. Like, but the baby was being overstimulated by everything.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm aghast that you guys would even go there.
Yeah.
Like, I have a picture.
It being just a screen is probably better than having the animatronics there, honestly. Like, the cut down, like, empty shell of what it is now is probably better for a 1-year-old than the full experience, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no, he was. I put another picture. He like with his face screwed up, like scream crying. When
God.
Chuck E. Cheese comes out and decides to start doing the whole dance and everything.
Oof.
That is a fussy baby right there.
Poor little dude. You didn't ask for this.
Somebody thought it was a good idea to take him into like this, the tube where you get inside and they blow air and like tickets fly around, or like money typically, but this time it's tickets.
Oh yeah.
So somebody brought him in there,
Why? That's actually a problem.
and you can guess the result.
The baby fearing for its very life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Also, when all the like relatives and stuff and people came in, and all wanted to say hi to the baby, he just got feared and started crying.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Choices were made that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese, where a kid can be a kid, except not anymore because now your kids are iPad babies, I guess. Go play the iPad games in the arcade.
I'm even gonna blame the kids for that. That's just the business going to shit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. That's what the business views them as. Yeah, I know. Had a disappointing pizza and a drink that was, I guess it was a fountain drink.
I mean,
Is it
okay,
not Happy
at
Joe's
least
Pizza
some
anymore?
parts of the Chuck E. Cheese experience are maintained then, I guess.
Yeah, at least some
Also
things
my
don't
understanding.
change. Yep.
Is it not Happy Joe's Pizza you get?
Who's
Or is it,
Joe?
I guess it would be different where you are. I guess around me, a pizza place called Happy Joe's and Chuck E. Cheese kind of combined.
No.
So yeah, Chuck E. Cheese would be like the arcade and the fun center, and then the Happy Joe's would be the pizza you get,
No.
and it was really good.
That actually sounds like a
No.
good way to do things.
That sounds like a great way to do things. No, that's not what happened here. What happened here is they made it in this in the back, and you get the little takeout window, which is like a slit in the wall. Here's your pizza.
Is the slit in the wall like right next to your table? Like,
No, it's in the middle of a plain wall next to where the counters would be.
oh, okay. So like a
The-
serving.
The
The
amount,
mysterious
like,
pizza hole.
yes, like it's deliberately cut so that you do not have to look or see the person actually making the pizza and putting it out there.
Okay,
It's
that's choice.
Yeah. I mean,
Alternatively,
fair enough.
it is designed so the employees that actually do the cooking don't have to deal with the kids.
Yep. So, that is all this to say. man, I want to go to an actual arcade. That got one near me. I'll go there later because it's a better experience. Or I might just stay at home and play games because a lot of games have come out, and I've been playing a lot of games.
Yeah.
Um, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out,
Yeah, it did.
and I have been loving that game.
Hmm. Is it?
Um,
I actually know nothing about that. Is like a classic fighting game? Like what kind
It
of game is it?
is. Did you play the Budokai Tenkaichi games on like PS2 or whatever?
Uh, yes, but not very long. Like just like
Okay.
a couple hours
Okay.
each.
In terms of like how the game progresses, it is like that. It plays also like that, but you know, it's Xenoverse. It's that kind of thing, more or less.
Not exactly.
I'm gonna say
Xenoverse
more or
is
less
different.
because
Yeah.
that's general. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of how the fighting works. That's
Yeah.
a different. That's where the differences lie. But in general, it's like big arena. You can dash towards your opponent or back away.
Flying
You've
in
got
the
your
air,
super
battling.
moves. Yeah, that is. How it-
And as with all the Budokai Tenkaichi games, Sparking Zero boasts a gigantic roster of characters, including minor characters and characters we haven't been able to play as. They have like a character that is just Frieza Soldier.
Yeah. In less generous terms, it has a comfortably large roster on the level of say maybe Smash Ultimate, and then like 80 fucking duplicates. Because that's how Dragon Ball rolls.
Mm.
You get like 15 Gokus, you get 10 Vegetas, etc.
Yep.
But it also has all of the minor characters, like you can play as Videl, you can play as every single member of the Ginyu Force, you can play as all of the movie villains, you can play as weird side characters of the movies, like Tapion, who no one knows who that is.
I know who Tapion is. He's the guy who Trunks got his sword from.
Yeah, which is a whole
Huh.
He's
other
the
story.
hero. He's the hero who was fighting Hirudegarn. I know who Tapion is. I like Tapion. They got a bunch of Tournament of Power people in there as well.
Yeah.
Like Dispo. You know Dispo?
The guy with the oddly jarring dub voice. I don't know why it feels odd for that to be the voice for Dispo. I like watched the subtitled version, so but okay, that's a direction to go. Sure, why not?
Something to say. Obviously you have characters who are returning. Like you can play as Hercule or Mr. Satan rather, and you can play as Videl, and you can play as Spopovich, right? And you can go online. There's ranked matches, but what I really want to talk about is the fact that this game has what if modes.
I love
So
those.
throughout the entirety of it has several different character stories where you play as that character's journey through the continuity of Dragon Ball, and there are branches that you unlock depending on like either choices or whether or not you defeat an enemy in a certain way. Like
If you win in a fight, you're supposed to lose, kind of thing. Sometimes.
it's more about time, really. There's some where it's like you have to deflect this one move that this enemy keeps spamming out. But there's others where it's just like you have to beat them really fast and overwhelm them and overpower them to an absurd degree, right? And there's like ones in which it's like this arc is just solved because this character did the thing here. Yay!
And then there's others that are a little more elaborate, like the one I saw someone play through was instead of Goku going with Piccolo, he instead tells Piccolo to fuck off and fights Raditz with everybody else, basically.
Yeah.
Which means first Goku doesn't die, which means he's there right away for the Vegeta and Nappa fights, which means he can kind of just fucking curb stomp Nappa and nobody has to die, and then everyone works together to beat Vegeta. they do the whole suicide full Nelson with beating Vegeta, only it doesn't quite work. The fight gets complicated, but essentially Goku dies then, trains with King Kai, and Vegeta is like, hey, you guys kind of kicked my ass, but now Frieza wants the Dragon Balls, so we need to team up before he gets here. And the whole Namek saga is instead the Earth saga, because all of that shit takes place on Earth instead.
Mm-hmm.
And Goku never goes Super Saiyan through the entire story of that branch. It just doesn't happen.
So you can play, from what I've seen so far of the different character arcs, and I might miss one or two here because there's a lot. You can play as Goku's story, Vegeta's story, Goku Black's story, Jiren's story, Piccolo, Gohan, Frieza, and Future Trunks.
Yeah.
And it brings up a lot of very interesting scenarios where, like, what if, Gohan in Resurrection F actually did reawaken his old, like, fighting instincts and went all out,
Those are actually like good what if scenarios. It's not like mild stuff. Like those are pretty far reaching.
Some of them are mild stuff. Some of them are very elaborate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them cause. Some of them have unique characters and character models that show up in them, which is really fun. Like there's one where if you resolve Future Trunks' story in a specific way, he can end up joining the crew for the Tournament of Power.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting. And presumably it takes the place of, I don't know, Tien or one of the
Takes
other
the place of
characters who does
Frieza.
nothing. Really? Weird.
Yeah. They don't need to go actually make a deal with Frieza because they have the fighters.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Tien still would have been a better cut, but, that's... Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't want to promise to resurrect Frieza if they don't want to have to.
Well, I mean, Goku probably wouldn't care and would be like, hey, I mean, if he's alive, then I can fight him again. It's usually how it works.
But you get really interesting dialogue because you get moments like Trunks now getting to talk to the Saiyans of the other universe and getting to...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Fucking Cabba talking to future Trunks, and it's like, wait, so you're like the son of my daddy? I mean, master? I mean...
There's and like Frieza's story, for example, can like has like a branch in which Frieza manages to like be alive and also be in the Tournament of Power and gets to like resurrect his Frieza force so then he can bring the Ginyu force with him to the Tournament of Power. Which means that they like, with all the other people who are just in costume and doing poses, they're popping off.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's like there's so much love packed into the game.
Speaking of love, yeah, that does sound like it would end up with the Ginyu Force doing a pose off with the love team or whatever they were called.
Yes, that's what happens.
Of course it does.
But they have like, you can tell this is made by people who really love the series, and all the different dialogue interactions from characters fighting against each other, to different just what if scenarios. Like I haven't even done nearly all of them. I've only done a few routes fully through, and I still feel like there's so much that there is left for me to do. So that's a fantastic Dragon Ball game. If you like Dragon Ball as a series, and you're a longtime fan, I highly recommend you get this because it's fun.
Would
Also,
not
apparently
be
people-
an ideal entry point, would be the one thing
Yes.
I would say.
That's why I said if you're a longtime Dragon Ball fan.
The
'Cause,
way that the progression is structured, it is that character's story. You are playing one character's story, which means you do their fights, and everything else that happens gets skipped.
Mm-hmm.
So you have For example, early story, you have Goku and Piccolo fighting Raditz. Okay, that's the start. That's done. Okay, we're skipping everything that happens between the Raditz fight and the Vegeta fight. So Nappa, nothing. All of the other characters dying, nothing. Doesn't even show it. And we just move straight on to Vegeta. So you have no idea what the fuck is happening if you...
And then we skip all the way to the androids. Or to Cell,
wow.
rather. Because
That was
Goku fights frighteningly, like, only a few amounts of times in the series.
I mean, not all the way to that in that case, then. That would be... From then it would be Ginyu, I want to say. After Vegeta is
all right, Frieza,
Ginyu,
yeah.
Ginyu, and then he's in the healing pod until Frieza.
And then Frieza, and then after Frieza is second form Cell.
Yep.
Then Perfect Cell.
Yep.
Then the one Super Saiyan 3 fight against Majin Buu. Then Kid Buu, or rather, no, Super Buu, for the Vegito fight. Then Super Buu, then... Yeah.
See, this is the downside of 80% of the story being waiting for Goku. Because he's not there for most of the story part. He's just there to get the win at the end.
They have a... Yeah. And they have GT characters as well, which of course they do, like Pan, two forms of Oob.
Okay, the
well
Oob inclusions were cool, because, like, that is actually a cool character. I did not realize that character is actually kind of cool until I watched, like, Team 4 start doing the retrospective on GT, and that shit was kind of cool. I like that the game actually shows how that weird tornado move works, because that was weird in the show, and they pointed that out. But yeah.
You got Baby Vegeta, all forms, Sin Shenron, Omega Shenron, and then the Super Saiyan 4s and Gogeta.
Yeah, my exposure to Oob is purely the finale, like epilogue of the baseline series.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he came back.
He does. He trains with Goku, and then at the beginning of GT, he's like, okay, I've done my training. I need to go off and learn on my own. And then he comes back to try to salvage the whole baby situation, I think it was.
Yeah.
Doesn't do very well, and then he and Fat Boo fuse together, and then he becomes kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
There's some what if stories that I actually do not want to talk about because the spoilers of them, of like, I want people to experience these for themselves.
Yeah, that's fair.
Really, I just very good game. And because I'm gonna move on. Other things that I have played. So I decided to play Metaphor Refantasio.
You know, I could have called that out
yeah.
and made it a hat trick for predicting things, but I didn't.
You mean not Persona?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is exactly that. That is the perfect descriptor of that. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, can I just say, I'm like, I'm not that far into the game. I love this game.
That's fair.
They have really shown how they've refined a lot of the systems that they've had before, and boy, oh boy, the basic premise of this game is you play as your character whose canon name is Will, who's teamed up with a little fairy named Gallica, and you're going to enroll in the guard to deliver a message to a secret informant because you are on a secret mission.
Short version, not Griffith is killing the royal family one by one so he can seize power, and the prince didn't quite die like everyone thought, and you're trying to, like, fix him, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you mean SMT Lucifer.
Okay.
The character who is literally SMT Lucifer. Like, down to a T. Or Hillel, or whatever the blonde-haired version is.
Yeah, I think that's Hillel.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's turn-based, but there's, like, open-world stuff, and when you go and I say open world stuff, but like it's more like for like dungeons and stuff, and you can hit enemies. If you hit them and break their bar, you get an advantage in battle. But if you are high enough level, you can just instantly like bam hit the enemy and get all the rewards. That's just built
Good.
in from the get-go.
Good. That is quality of life I need.
And there's archetypes, which are like the classes, because it has a sort of a job system. And the job system of mage the job of mage means that whenever you instant kill enemies on the battlefield like that in the open world, you get MP back.
Oh, I see.
Yes. There's also a job called merchant, which means when you do that, you get money.
How many can every character have their own job, or is it only
Every
your
character can have their own job.
Okay, so you can gain all those benefits. You don't have to. You only get one.
So this is just grind as much as you want the game.
So the if you want to grind, that's entirely an option. But the game even has social stats, by the way. Like
So
one of them is
So it's just another take on the Persona series.
Let me ask if you've heard this one before. You are a character that is basically a blank slate. You go and you meet this one dude character who seems kind of cool and is immediately kind of on your side. You go into a dangerous situation, find out that there are these scary monsters that you don't quite understand but are terrifying and easily overpower you. And then you go into an animated cutscene where you awaken a power that you don't understand. Suddenly you are a super cool badass and your friend is just kind of there, just helpless while you save him. And then you two are buds forever. And then you fall asleep and you find yourself in this strange room run by a strange man who has agreed to help you in your journey with your new mysterious powers.
That seems familiar.
Now, see, I do feel the need to point out, I'm not upset.
No,
about the premise.
it's a formula that works.
was-
Let me be clear.
I
I
would not say the character is a blank slate. They have a history to them. They have personality in the lines that appear and the way they say those lines, because they are voiced. They are a voiced character.
Okay, that's fair. It's slightly more
voiced.
personality than, say, Joker. Joker did have personality as well.
And there's certain elements to the backstory that you kind of have to learn. Also, they are an Elda. So the thing is about this world of Metaphor Fantasio is that there's a hierarchy of races. It's an incredibly racist world.
Pretty much.
And your character, Will, who is an Elda, is the most normal-looking human guy. I mean, he has heterochromia, but like normal-looking human guy. Doesn't have horns or wings or cat ears. So that means he is despised, and people will jack up the prices of their shops just because you are an Elda. And in addition to that, the church basically says you're not recognized by the church as a person.
Ying, great.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you're coming at it from the perspective of the bottom of the barrel, and you know the little bubbles that pop up in Persona 5 of people like talking and saying things when you walk around school or around town. Now replace that with racist remarks about your character.
Great.
I mean,
why? I was.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Where was I? What was I saying again? I was taken with the game from the opening cutscene. I haven't played it yet. I watched someone play it in part. And then before the opening cutscene was over, I decided, no, this actually looks really cool. I want to play this for myself. I better not be spoiled. And now hearing all of this, that's only reinforcing my decision, interestingly enough.
Yeah, fair.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't really spoil all that much in my defense. That was a very vague summary of the first hour.
No, I'm not
maybe?
calling. I'm not calling you out for spoiling anything, just remarking that now that I have a bit more information on what I've learned, it's only making me want to play the game more.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, I didn't phrase that well.
No, that's okay.
I'm playing the
I'm not-
game. I'm playing the game on hard, and I'm jumping at every single optional challenge presented before me.
Yeah.
Early on, there's a boss who's like, "We need to sneak around him," so I just ran straight up to him.
Yeah,
And I
apparently
won.
that's
How
the best decision,
hard?
I guess.
What was that?
I said, how hard is hard?
Pretty difficult at times. It's honestly like pretty punishing. In certain spaces, particularly because obviously enemies get extra turns whenever they crit or hit your weakness. So that can cause it to be racked up quite a bit, especially when there can be up to 5 enemies on the field at a time, and they all have turns, and they can get extra turns.
Mm,
So it feels like a good challenge right now.
I'll definitely bear it in mind.
And when you start battles, there is a button you just push to instantly restart the battle back to the beginning.
Oh, okay.
If you do not like the way this battle is going, you can just restart it. You missed your attack that you really needed to hit to land to make this battle work. Okay, restart. And it's instant. The music doesn't even stop.
Oh, okay.
It's just continuous. Which I like that there's lore for the fact that you hear battle music and world music as you're traveling around.
What's the reason for it?
Your fairy companion Gallica casts a spell to make traveling a little bit more fun.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But yeah, no, it's really good.
Question.
Yeah.
How hard does it lean on the meta narrative? The book.
The book. So far, it comes up once or twice, but it's really not the crux of anything other than an ideal of a future that could be better than the one they currently have.
Okay, good. Because it was a little. I don't like stories that break the fourth wall constantly, and that was seeming like what it was going to be for the first hour of the game.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay.
It's literally all it is the idea of a world without such harsh discrimination and classism is a fantasy for them. Now it's a bit of a weird take that they present our world as an option, but hey,
yeah, that's something I've noticed a lot is people saying, "You sure about that part?"
Well, it's an idealized version of Japan, I guess.
I mean, I guess it maybe is better here.
And if it's an idealized version of Japan, then basically the idea is, hey, it's a homogenous society. There aren't any other races. That's some loaded territory. There is what that is.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm just not gonna think too hard about that.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna skate on past that because that's not the intent of the author.
I mean, I feel like that's what you have to do with a lot of JRPGs sometimes. You just don't. There's some concepts you just don't really think on very hard.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Combat is super fast and fluid with the ability to just push a button to skip animations during attacks. Which means
that have a setting in the settings where you could just auto skip them, or do you have to press a button every time?
You just press a button, and honestly, it happens so fast that it's not bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing with turn-based games because you end up in a situation where you're going to see the same animations 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, this particular developer does a very, very good job with them in that they are so fluid and usually short that you don't mind.
I want to specify, I think I left this out. I want to specify that when I say skip animations, I mean you're skipping. So there's attacks called synergy attacks or synthesize, whatever, where you do basically a dual attack with one of your party members based off what archetypes you have equipped, what jobs you have. And you can skip those long animations, is what I mean.
So
or the double
basically,
attacks.
Showtime attacks from 5.
Kind of.
From Royal, technically, actually, no.
Like, I mean, it's a little bit more like, for example, one of the early dual attacks is Mataru Kaja to get everybody attack up. So, I mean, it's not all like unique things necessarily. Some of them are unique attacks, but sometimes it's just like, hey, if I team up with this person, I can use a high. If I have like 2 mages in my team, then they can use more powerful spells when they do a dual attack. You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, so they have some other jobs in the game that I've yet to unlock, like Persona user and Soul hacker and Devil summoner.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
just putting that out there.
Okay. That's...
I mean, let's not even think about the fact that the main character is, I guess, in Makoto Yuki, Minato, their child, and then your first party member is just Yu Narukami.
Oh, I was not aware of that. I don't. I assume you don't mean literally. They're like an XP.
They're a tall, gray-haired man with a similar haircut
Hmm.
that uses a great sword and joins
That
you and is friends with your blue-haired character who is shorter and
That's not
looks
the
like
first
he's
party
wearing
member, but okay.
headphones. Yes, it is.
The noble kid?
Oh. I mean, he's the first one you can control.
Right, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Because until you can actually unlock the archetype system in other characters, you cannot control them. At least in the prologue. Then once you get like all that set up, then you're good. And you can also transfer skills between jobs. So like bring up this job so that I can get like
We're getting a little into the weeds.
yeah. But here, listen. So a lot of the jobs are tied to specific characters, which are like social links. Essentially, you have your social links, but they work more like the confidants of P5, where like each level has benefits. So like you want to make this job really strong, then hang out with this character, and then you can transfer more skills over from other jobs and other things, and it's really cool. Yeah. It's just a really fun game, fun art style, fun characters, fun soundtrack. Big recommend for me. That's kind of the 2 games that I've been more or less playing, unless there's one that I'm forgetting, and there likely is one that I'm forgetting because I tend to be forgetful.
That's possible. I mean, especially if you played it early in the week and then hopped on that and spent most of your time on that.
And this week was parent-teacher conferences.
Oh, God.
And over the course of 2 days, I did 26 conferences.
Oh,
Now, some of them were as simple as, yeah, I know your kid's doing great. Awesome. Here's how we can further support their learning, but you're doing great. Right? Others were like, listen, I gotta be honest, your kid's not doing their work. They're shoving all of their work that they need to complete in their desk and not taking it home like they're supposed to do it as homework.
that's
I-
rough.
And the parents took it to heart and were very understanding and were willing to work with you to try to resolve this problem, right?
Yes, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
lucky
not what I
you.
expected.
I was able to, like, here's the thing you have to understand. Every student in my class loves me.
I mean, that's
And
fair.
speaks highly of
gone out
me.
make sure that's the case. So,
And so, like, when I'm talking with these parents, and it's like, here's what you can do. And I always approach it from, like, the stance of, I care about your kid. I care about your, child's future and education, right? Because it's true. There's no kid in my class that I dislike. Even the louder ones, I like them too. Every one of them has something that like they'll do that's like really funny, or the like quirks of their personality. It's just like I really care about them all, and knowing that and having that be like the forefront of everything that I'm saying makes it so that parents really want to listen and cooperate with me. So I mean.
yeah,
That's the
I mean that helps. Yeah.
The response of the parents, the kid who shoved papers in the desk was like, that little stinker.
Okay.
Because they know their kid.
Hmm.
Oh, they know their kid. So it was just good to touch base. And I found out on the first day, literally, like I got hit with two like bombs back to back. One was like on Wednesday. It was going to be a kid's birthday. And I'm like all set up to celebrate his birthday, and then I get a message from the parent saying, hey, I heard that so and so was suspended, and we will ensure it doesn't happen again." I'm like, "What? They got suspended after they left my class,
Oh.
and we're still on school property." and then like 2 days later, "Oh, hey, one of the teachers on your team got fired."
Oh, okay. I feel like you're a little out of the loop.
Yeah.
Did you get any more details? Because that sounds like a very interesting story.
Oh, I got details, though I don't think I'm allowed to share them.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I eventually got details. I don't have all the details, but I got some details. But I'm just gonna try not to
Let's not get you fired.
Yeah.
put my own job at risk.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's fair.
But it was a hectic week. It was very hectic.
Hmm.
That's one way to put it.
Oh, I remembered the other thing. You know what else is hectic? Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Is that good? I'm going to be getting that later.
Yes. I know, this is a weird transition.
I'm just gonna say, patient, if you could do me a favor and not mute and unmute yourself, because that comes through and it's very loud with your volume turned way up.
My apologies.
It's cool.
So I played on my friend Proto Blues. He streams on Twitch, and so I joined him last night to play some Mario Party Jamboree. You can immediately unlock the only two characters that are locked, which are Pauline and Ninji. And I mean immediately unlock them. It's like takes 2 seconds.
Do you just like play one game or something?
You go to like select your game mode, and you just move the camera around, and then you just see them in the distance, and you zoom in, and it's like, oh hey, they're over there. They want to join the party.
Oh, all right.
That's it.
That's good.
I'm gonna try and be nice about this. Zero, you have been talking for 47 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Like, this
I have a
might
lot
have
to
been why
say.
I was trying to get you to wrap up with the metaphor thing, but
Well, I'm a talkative individual.
yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, Slicer asked a question about Mario Party Jamboree.
Okay.
Is it good? My short answer is yes.
Well, there we go. All right.
Let's
Good
go
night,
with the
let's
major things that differ between like old Mario parties and this one. We can move on, please. Thank you. I don't want you to say nothing, but
Unlike the last Super Mario Party, where they like did a bunch of weird rules, it's back to being stars are for sure 20 coins every time. Items and item variety are all there. You don't pick just a random buddy to join you. They'll appear on the map, and then whoever gets to them will start a huge buddy mini game to see if they can get the buddy. And each buddy will give you like various benefits. Like Wario, for example, will give you money every turn.
Okay. Is there a limit to the amount of buddies you could have?
They spawn in very like slowly / rarely, so
right. So
you're not going to usually have more.
They've balanced them so that you don't have one player ending up with a small army just
Yes.
rocking with them through the entire game. Okay.
And they go away after 3 turns.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's
Yeah,
better.
I was watching a playthrough of one game shortly before we started, and yeah, that was interesting. And he was not exaggerating at all. When he says it's a big minigame to get them to join you, I saw the one for Donkey Kong. They were playing bongos for like 3 minutes.
That
Wow.
sounds less than fun for every other player.
The Wario one was a 10-round quiz show.
Is everyone involved, or is it just the
Yes.
one person? Okay.
Of course,
okay,
it's
that's-
everyone.
Everyone's involved.
Okay.
The one
should
who
go.
that's- yeah.
the one who
It was-
instigated The one who instigates the minigame to get the person to join the winner gets a slight advantage. Like, the bongos were a rhythm game, and the instigator of the game got a slightly wider margin of error than the others.
Yeah. And the quiz show was like, you got 5 points, which is the equivalent of getting one question right first.
That feels like a pretty big bonus, actually.
For a
Yeah.
for a 10-question quiz, not a huge one, but
Some of those
noticeable.
questions are double points.
Oh, okay.
So it's not as big as it seems. And because I won it and I didn't instigate it, I totally snatched that. Yeah, no, it's just they took all the feedback from Super Mario Party and were like, okay, we heard you. We made Mario Party Superstars to learn how to make classic Mario Party again. We know how to do it. Here's classic Mario Party.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
It's just good.
It just works.
They know what they're doing. Yep. That's it for me.
Okay,
If I can tell you one last thing onto the Mario Party
Go for it.
Jamboree,
and you can go next too.
the graphics are gorgeous. The way that they've uplifted Western Land from Mario Party 2, literally the only thing that could have made it better was if all the characters were able to wear the cowboy outfits again, which I can understand that that's a massive undertaking. But
it would be.
they have poured so much life into that board. It's amazing. So, yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. So as for me, there hasn't been a whole lot going on over the past couple of weeks. I mean, 2 weeks ago there was General Conference, which was as refreshing as ever. So that was good. Then it's just been a lot of getting back into the rhythm of work and trying and having varying success with trying to save my money now that I'm getting paychecks again.
Yeah, your first couple paychecks go to things that have been put off for a while, and it kind of sucks at first.
Something like that. And yeah, I've been diligent in setting aside money into savings and not touching it. But other than that, I've been a bit reckless with the funds that have been coming into my account. So, not to the extent of being unable to pay bills, mind you.
Yeah, I
but
didn't assume so.
to the extent of not having as much spending money as I would like between paydays.
Mm-hmm.
So just something to work on. The month is almost over, and next month will be the last month of my probationary period, after which I will be able to get health insurance, which I have every intention of taking advantage of. Can't remember the last time I've been to a doctor. And on the flip side, I'll be on the program, which means I'll have quotas to fulfill again, which is not going to be.
I was going to ask if ending the probationary period was a good thing or not.
It's a mixed blessing. It puts me on the company's thoroughly unfair quota program, though I at least once again have a manager who will go to bat for me as long as I'm trying my best. So that's fine. Takes a lot of pressure off. So it's uncomfortable, but not what's the word I'm looking for here?
Unreasonable?
That'll work. Yeah, just so there's that. But it gives me all of the job's benefits now that I'm actually going to be making it the full 90 days. So
cool.
It'll be nice to not have to stress out every time I feel like I have to go to the doctor, as well as to finally see a dermatologist about the psoriasis I've been dealing with for years now.
Hopefully you can get in quickly. Dermatologists, in my experience, have been like, oh, here's an appointment that opens up in 8 months.
Well, I've waited this long. I'm sure I can be patient for a while longer if that's what I need to do. I mean, it's an inconvenience, a persistent inconvenience, but it's nothing life-ruining. So we'll see how it goes. Aside from that, it's pretty much just been mundane. Working here, playing there, at church, I work for there as well, and a bit of improvement, rising and falling on my plans to lose weight. This past week, I made it to the gym 4 times, and I also made a giant peanut butter cup for work.
That sounds fun.
And by giant, I mean about a foot long in diameter. Wow. It's a very simple recipe. And it was.
I'm pulling out a tape measure to figure out what a foot looks like. There we go. That's pretty big. It's pretty big.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes.
Shape and dimensions are not exactly my forte. I apologize.
Understandable.
No worries. No worries. No worries. So yeah, there's not a whole lot going on with me that hasn't been going on. Just slow and steady progression, slow and steady rebuilding my finances and working on fixing myself. So I'll keep up the pace and hopefully I'll see results soon enough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
4 times in a week is pretty great.
Who's next? Yeah, I mean, it was 15 minutes each, but I was going for quantity over quality. And I was aiming for 5 times, but my legs sort of grew a bit too stiff after the 4th time. So I tried putting it off for a day, but did a fair bit of running around on Saturday that tired me out as well. So I'll restart this week and we'll see what I can do.
Yep. Up and moving, getting stuff done. That's the goal. I have a story in the vein of that if you want someone to go next.
Well, by all means.
So, one of the benefits I'm on for low earnings is being folded into a different one that basically I've got to go through the whole rigmarole of, hey, who are you? How much money are you making? With a whole different group of people, which means I needed to go into town for the first time in several months at best. So I'm like, okay, I'll get a taxi there to make sure I get to the appointment on time, and then I'll walk home because that's healthy. It's a good few mile walk. That's good stuff.
Sounds reasonable.
Good, light cardio exercise. It's good. So I go to the meeting, and the guy is very nice and helpful and respectful and stuff, and understanding of, hey, I'm the guy with the blind as fuck stick, so I'm just bear with me. I'm doing my best. I tell him, he asks whether I've got a taxi waiting for me because that seems like a reasonable thing for a basically blind person to have, and I'm like, no, I'm going to walk home, and he gives me this look like, you sure you want to do that? You sure that's a good idea? I'm like, no, I'm gonna walk home. I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna save some money and be healthy. And that's responsible and that's good. It's what I should do. So I proceed to get lost for about 20 minutes because I haven't been in this part of town in a long, long time, and things have moved around a little bit. Then I find the right way home and realize it is 9:25 in the morning, and my house is pretty much due east of where I was. So I am staring at the blinding sun for the entire walk home.
Oh, that's the worst.
Reminder, I am photophobic. Which means my 80% blind ass is now 99% blind and in constant pain.
Yeah, I assume you didn't have like a hat to put down over your eyes or something.
I have the best sunglasses I can find for this particular task, and they were not enough. Not for direct sunlight shining directly into my eyes.
No, you need like full blackout shades for that, and even then, or something just solid. Like it's not even, you can't even see.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
We're not done. So, I am struggling to walk with my, 6 inches or so vision that I have while I'm squeezing my eyes shut and basically only seeing the rough outline of objects in my way. Walk into a post a couple of times. That happens, it's how it goes. And while I'm getting to pretty much the busiest intersection in my region, I just sort of suddenly come to a stop as I realize right in front of me, about 6 inches away, as I mentioned, is this very big orange barrier in the way of the crossing that I'm trying to get across. There are several around me. Oh shit. They are doing very extensive roadworks around this area.
Oh.
So my usual path to get home, that is basically a straight line, is now quite a bit more complex. And I'm just sort of standing there like, I don't know what to do. And thankfully, the maintenance workers that are doing the roadworks, trying to do whatever the bloody they're doing, I don't know, realizes, hey, there is a guy with a blind person stick here. I should probably help them. And he does.
Yeah. Good.
He's
I'm glad.
Faith in humanity restored. This guy is like, okay, where are you trying to go? And I'm like, over there, pointing to the other side of the very busy street. He's like, okay, don't worry about it. I got you. Just follow me. He guides me through the maze of fucking barriers and stuff that they've put up to try and guide people, and I can't see shit. And they've got cables and shit, and he's like, okay, just careful of that. Mind your step. Just guiding me like a small child through this maze of roadwork passageways.
I mean, hey, whatever works. It's fine.
There are roadworks for approximately 30% of this journey. This multiple mile journey.
That's so bad. Was it at least in one solid chunk, or was it
Yeah, it was
you're
one
fine
solid
for
chunk.
15
Yeah, it was
minutes, and
just
then-
down that one main road.
Okay, at least there's that.
Yeah. So I am already pouring of sweat from pain and tiredness, just general tiredness, because I'm not in that great shape, and stress of being that completely fucking helpless and needing to depend on someone that severely. I'm just fucking, oh God, let this end, please, for the love of God. And I managed to make the entirely uphill climb for the rest of the journey and just get home and kind of want to die a little bit, but that was my decision to be responsible and healthy. It went so very well.
You sure burn those calories, that's for sure.
Yeah, it lost a couple pounds in water weight, probably, just by how much I was bloody sweating. I have never heard Patient laugh this hard.
You broke it this time. Well, you set out to be healthy, and it kind of worked, I guess. As long as your eyes are better again.
Yeah, I can see. It's fine.
You're not still seeing spots.
No, I'm good. This was Thursday? I want to say Thursday. So it's been a couple days. So that was a fun experience. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna take a taxi both ways on my next appointment, and that's that.
Yeah.
So
Understandable.
you okay, buddy?
Patient seems to have been Killed.
You good? He's muted
I
himself. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think it was last time when no one else was here, but Zero mentioned the Shadow Generations videos. I
Yes.
watched those. Those are cool.
They are.
Yeah. I pre-ordered that game now
Yeah, me too.
because I'm a fucking mark is why.
Yep. They worked.
Yeah. Good job, Mr. Flynn. You're really good at your job. Damn it. It's interesting the whole there's a weird sort of, I don't want to call it a conflict because that seems like overstating it, but a weird sort of response to how they're rewriting the original Sonic Generations. Like just some people being like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. The game should be left as it is, even though you're remastering it and redoing pretty much everything." And one of the criticisms seems to be like, "Hey, stop doing references." And the example used is like Tails in the original not recognizing the chemical plant and making a joke about how the water makes him nervous for some reason he doesn't understand. And the new version where he knows exactly what the chemical plant is and where it was because he lived it. He remembers the events of his own life.
Crazy.
It's a weird thing to call that making a reference and not, hey, the characters actually have consistent life stories now and are just sort of,
It's canon. Things
whole
happen.
and
They have a
complete.
life.
Yeah, it's just
That's
weird.
That's a bit silly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess after all of this time of everything being completely disconnected from everything else in terms of games, I guess it can kind of feel weird with acknowledging all of that stuff happened. Like, just, no, everything does matter and everything does have repercussions in the future of events that happened in the past. And the characters understand that. Like, over the course of the series, pretty much, I think I said this previously, but I think the only character that actually had a narrative through line was Shadow. And pretty much everyone else, it was self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
So now everyone is getting that treatment, and that's kind of how you write stories of characters running series.
Crazy.
I mean, Legend of Zelda exists, so you could argue otherwise, but...
Well, I mean, they deliberately are doing episodic, like, self-contained for most part things, but in
Metroid
this case,
also
for Sonic,
exists,
it's
so
always...
I guess that is another argument against it.
But Sonic's always been the same Sonic. So why doesn't he remember? Oh yeah, no, this happened before. And I'm like, okay, no, the characters remember past events now. And people are like, what? Not my Sonic. Those are references.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but it's just what people have gotten used to, I guess.
Yeah.
It'll be an adjustment.
Getting used to Sonic being inconsistent. That's a good habit to break, I think.
Yeah. Get people used to the being actual story.
Yeah. And long-standing ramifications of things that
moon's
have
broken.
happened.
Like,
yes.
yeah. Eggman pissed on the moon, and that's that. That's just how it is now.
I'm so glad that the moon's broken.
Yeah. That meme lives forever now.
The super laser piss.
Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, that was neat. Hades 2 had a big update.
Oh?
Yeah. They unlocked the third region on the surface route, which is a very mild spoiler. I have not gotten there because I decided, hey, if I'm going to come back to this game, I'm going to start from scratch and see what has changed from the very beginning. And that seemed like a reasonable thing to do.
Not. It was not.
No, it was. Why would it not be?
Isn't that it's a roguelike, isn't it? I mean,
it's a roguelite, yes. With a T.
yeah. So you have to rebuild all of that stuff that you had before.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that far into it. I was kind of that far into it, but it's still fun, and it felt like a new experience because you know what? They have vastly improved that game from launch, which makes sense. Initially, it seemed to encourage you to do only one playstyle, which was not great, which was the game, unlike the first game, now has like charge moves that are like omega moves that are you hold the button down and it does an attack that is more powerful and takes a resource that you have that refreshes in every room. So you hold down the attack button, it does a super big attack. You hold down the special button, it does a bigger version of the special. You hold down the cast button, and the cast circle that holds enemies in place will do a big burst of damage at the end of it when it runs out. And it massively encouraged using those more than any other playstyle. Like, everything ran on using that stuff up. And it wasn't great, partially because I didn't like that playstyle. It didn't feel great because a lot of it was based around the game slowing down while you're doing these special big attacks, and that didn't feel like, for people that liked Hades 1, that was very fast and snappy, it was a very it's a danger of sequel games. You establish a feel, and that's kind of what people will expect in a future game. And this was very different and not great. But they have overhauled a lot of things and balanced the game better to allow for different kind of playstyle. So you don't really need to do the Omega stuff anymore if you don't want to. You can build in ways that completely cut that stuff out. On launch, it was that if you wanted to use your big super move that was I forget what it was called in the first game, but it was just a thing that would charge up over time in the first game, and you could just throw it out and it would be a like game changer for every fight. In this one, you had to use the Omega moves to charge that up, and a lot of the time the charge you had to use was multiple times what your actual full resource bar was. So you had to build yourself up to make that bar way, way, way bigger before you could even use your big super special move that you wasted a room's bonus on. And now they have given an option so that will just auto-charge now. You don't have to use up the Omega attacks, you don't have to use the magic, you don't have to do anything. It will just, if you are in a room for long enough, then you will be able to use that, which is how the first game worked. Mm-hmm. And that is so much better and just makes that system actually worth using. So that's a lot of big balance and usability changes that make a lot of things just a lot more viable. Like, I am back to feeling like I did in the first game, which was, even if this possible upgrade I could get isn't right for my build, I can definitely see a build where that would be useful.
Okay, that's good.
That was how the first game ended up feeling. The second game did not feel like that in the slightest. Like, you could really clearly see the completely useless ones that you just don't ever get. And now it's a lot more balanced. There is a use for, as far as I've seen, pretty much everything. There is a reason you might take every single upgrade that I have seen. And character-wise, they have made some changes they seem to have made some changes based on my perceptions that are perhaps wrong. I'm not entirely sure. There was a character in Hades 2 that is just the worst. People familiar might... Nemesis is just, like, not... She's just not a great person to talk to at any point, which is not great for the game that it, like, kind of prides itself on character bonding and, just getting to know people and wanting to talk to everyone and get their stories. And then you have this one character that's just a piece of shit at every possible opportunity, actively makes the game harder to play, gets in your way constantly, and then talks shit about you for it. They have made her slightly better in that she does not seem to constantly talk shit in the most repulsive way. In terms of gameplay, she still does the same things that she used to do, which I'm not a fan of, is what I'm going to say about that. But, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do.
So they refined her character to something that is unpleasant, but not the absolute worst.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, you can... My hope is that she is tolerable until A, he says, holding up a finger like he's counting one because he's an idiot. And until they, in the story, make her more sympathetic and reasonable, and B, give you a way to tell her to fuck off in the game.
Yeah, I mean, both sound fun.
Yeah, like if they add a way to say, hey, you need to stop getting in my way when I'm trying to do the job I have, and like let you have that as an upgrade, that would be great. Just like, even if it's a choice of, hey, you don't show up and pick fights with me in the middle of a run, or you don't buy shit from the shop before I can in the middle of a run, and it's just a choice between those two, I'd accept that. That'd be fine. I would definitely choose the shop thing because that is the fucking worst. But yeah.
I actually forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. If you are too slow after fighting her, she will pick one of the doors and you can't pick it anymore. Which happened the first time I fought her in this playthrough of the game. And she took one of the hammer doors, which is the best upgrade in the game.
That is rough.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how that shakes out, probably in the full release rather than in the incremental releases that we're getting in the early access. But that game is still fun. It's still a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than it was with how it's so much better balanced for different playstyles. But yeah, that's pretty much. Sorry.
Is it consistently balanced, or are there some builds that just straight up break the game, and there isn't really a lot you can do about it?
There are some that maybe need a little more help than others, but I haven't found any that, like, I mean, with the amount of upgrades that are available, there are absolutely going to be things that completely break the game over its knee, but the thing is, you're never guaranteed to get those.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Like, if you get Hestia in a run, you kind of have to work around that because her stuff is better, a lot better than it was because it was really bad before, but still not great, and she needs help to be worthwhile. That would probably be the weakest one that I have seen so far. But yeah, so that's still a fun game. I'd still recommend it. Maybe wait until full release so you get the better experience than what I'm getting, but what I have seen so far is very promising for what it was originally. Yeah. That's pretty much all I got, though. So, Slicer, how you doing?
Pretty good. Played a couple games. I played it a while back, but it was there's a gun shop, one where you run a gun shop in the zombie apocalypse called Rise of Gun.
Okay. All right.
It's very simple. It's like $15 on Steam. And that's the extent of the game. You go to the shop down the street, you buy weapon parts, you make cobbled together Franken guns, and then you sell them in your shop. And sometimes you go down the street and buy a hot dog from the cafe, or fill up on water for your vending machines, and eventually you can get like a shooting range in the back of your shop and a bunch of other little ways to make money and just have a time. You can eventually buy employees so you don't need to run your store, but the one problem with that is like you still need to make all the guns, and that's very time consuming. So like it's important to have an employee, but you can't leave your shop unattended.
I'm going to look this up, and I'm going to see if it is what I think it is, because I am pretty sure it is. Rise of Gun, you said?
Play it? Yes. The art style is unique, but you get used to it pretty quick.
It is very stylized. I was assuming that it was going to be another one of those shop simulator games like Supermarket Simulator and trading card game simulator, frankly.
It is close.
Yeah.
It is a first-person game, so
it is very much in that vein, but it is much more stylized in how it looks, and it looks a lot more involved in how it plays.
Yes, very much so. Your day is full from morning to night. You always have something to do. Although I did find out the best way to make money is buying the most expensive parts and just making one gun instead of like 10 guns. So you just wait for one customer to come in and buy your hyper expensive gun, and that's the best way to make large amounts of money because of how the workbenches work. They increase the cost of the parts, or the value of the parts, I should say, by a percentage. But that percentage gains more of a bonus from parts that are more expensive. So yeah, it is fun though. I enjoyed it a lot. It's like a good couple hours worth of fun.
Neat.
And I believe it's still being updated, so that's nice.
Uh,
And I guess I was just on a gun kick recently because I also got Gunsmith Simulator, which is much less of a shop simulator. That one is
yeah.
just you go to your computer in the corner of your gun shop
You
and you
get
order it.
commissions, and then
Yeah,
you build them a gun
yeah.
to their specifications, and then you send it to them. Yes?
You don't actually build it. You just fix up. They send you their mostly broken gun. You
Right.
make parts for it to fix it, clean it, send it back to them. That.
It might be a case that you eventually end up building a gun. Because I have seen that was on my wish list for a while. Because I was very curious about that one. Because at the time, I was doing PC Building Simulator, which is basically the same game but with PCs. Right down to them sending you their stuff and saying, hey, fix. You fix.
Yeah, yeah. The I did pick up on the fact that the profit margins for your gun shop are minimal. So this is not something you could do as a career, even in a game. It's like it cost
Yeah.
me like, yeah, it would be a lot.
Yeah. Still, I those games I appreciate those games. Those are good sort of meditative playing experiences.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Uh, you can't really Rise of Gun. You could probably listen to things while you play it, because I don't think there's any sound cues you really have to pay attention to. Sometimes the alarm goes off at your shop because somebody does try to steal your guns. But for the most part, you could safely listen to stuff while you play. Same with Gunsmith Simulator. That one is just like you have to turn off the in-game radio and you'd be fine. There are no elements of that game that could go wrong if you're not paying attention to them. It's just like, how long do my parts have to wait in the CNC machine? But I have the Planet Crafter, Cozy Keep, and Project Mist, the demo for all three of those, and I haven't actually had time to touch any of them, as well as the Metaphor Fantasia prologue demo, which I haven't been able to touch either. So hopefully I'll be having a little bit of time to do some gaming over this week. But yeah, I finally got my first paycheck at my job, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
I as I said in patience segment, I didn't realize how many big purchases I still needed to make that I had been pushing off because I had no income, or like, realistic income. Because unemployment is nice, but it's not something you could support yourself on. So like most of my first paycheck went into my car, as will the next a portion of the next two paychecks. So that is a bit of a bummer, but it's nice to have money again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get Mario Party Jamboree sometime this week and play it with the girlfriend and just have a fun time. She's coming up for Christmas weekend, or Christmas week, not Christmas, Halloween week, Halloween week. So that'll be a fun time. So yeah, I believe that's me. I think that's everything I've done. Oh wait, I had an anime day yesterday, where a bunch of friends got together and watched the first episode of every anime that came out this season.
Okay.
Uh, and none of them were good.
Oh.
There was there was just a lot of mediocre bullshit. And
Oh.
Don Don
And what?
and Don Don, which
Oh.
is really good, and they definitely did it justice. Except for the first, there was like a 3 or 4 minute section in the first episode, which is weirdly rapey and not indicative of the rest of the series, and I'm kind of upset about it.
In which direction?
In the fact that it was included at all. I mean,
Okay.
I know it was in the source material, but like how it's hard to introduce somebody to a series by having them watch the first episode when that happens. It sucks because it doesn't happen, as far as I'm aware. It doesn't happen again in most of the series.
So kind of a Goblin Slayer sort of
Yes,
situation.
I've made that comparison quite a few times. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Patient, what were you gonna say?
Was just going to verify. Not just one good anime out of how many did you watch?
I think we got through 12.
I mean, I'd like to say that's depressing, but We did that song and dance for years, so
Yeah.
we know exactly what that's like.
I mean, it's rough numbers, but let's be real. You found another good show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
usually what you have to
And
take away from this sort of thing.
in anime's defense, in this season's of anime's defense, we only had to skip. We had a system where if everyone was just not feeling it, we would voice it and we would skip it, and there you go. Uh, we only actually had to skip like 3 anime, I want to say, of the many that we watched, over a dozen or so. So none of them were egregiously bad by any means. It was just like nothing about this stands out. Nothing
Yeah.
about this is unique or exceptionally entertaining. It's just, I might watch a second episode of this later.
Hmm.
Like there was one where a girl finds that she's a really big fan of magical girls, and really likes to see the local magical girl fight and struggle and overcome things. Uh, and so she accidentally gets to become the subordinate of the big bad, the local villain. So
Right.
it's just interesting enough that I would probably give that one a standard 3 episode test.
I think I have heard of that one in passing.
Yeah. So yeah, a little sad, but hey, at least I got one anime to watch, and it's not like I have an excessive amount of free time anyway, so
Yeah.
one is fine. But yeah, that is actually me.
Okay. I believe we did Patreon last time.
Yeah.
It's very, very abrupt and kind of curt, but yeah. I
Yeah.
think Zero is done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
We did it. We did it last time.
Yeah. So this podcast. Okay. I'm gonna quickly type in fucking something about Chuck E. Cheese. That is my reminder for the title of this episode. There we go. I'll think of something. Yeah. So
Luxy cheese.
The ball
no.
pit.
Anyway, Patreon, Discord, links in the description. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See you sometime next month, probably.